I never had social media before real estate. So it's a crucial point. If you want to get in real estate, you have to be comfortable to be on social media.
I had no idea what I'm signing up for. Like,
Yes.
I mean, she explained me how it works, but I'm like, okay, you know what I realized? Because while I was in school, I was doing just W-2 regular at office job, and I was miserable. I hated that. Like 8 to 5 behind the desk typing. I hated that so much. That like, if I can just like in a day drive somewhere, meet new people, and then have maybe like an hour or two in a day just to like fill out the paperwork. Everything else is on the go. That would be my dream. And I'm like, okay, sounds awesome. Sign me up.
You can imagine 300 people on the same floor in that high cubicles, right? I was bored so much that I start looking like, okay, where I can take my career next.
Who is in the process of studying the book?
Yellow book.
The yellow book. I remember I was trying to make that call. I was hiding from my wife. Make a call. The guy didn't pick up. I'm like, whew, coming back. You know, I always wanted to have 100 houses, have 100 tenants, and chill. That was my goal. But I didn't have a realtor friend who would help me do it. So I'm like, I'll become a realtor and I'll do it for myself. And then I got hooked on sales and I started liking the sales game. You don't know if it's gonna close. Anything can happen. And you're gonna have sleepless nights. It's 100 times harder than you think. You're gonna be waking up in the middle of the night thinking, did I send that email? This is the first time we're doing something like this, career night. We were getting a lot of questions from people on our Instagram accounts, on Facebook about this career. And instead of answering everybody individually, which we still do, we wanted to do something like this to put a little bit of a light on the industry. You see all our Instagram posts, how Angelica closed $1 million deal, how Nick is doing his second $1 million deal. You see all these successes, but you don't see what goes behind it. You know, what amount of work we do and how tough sometimes it is. And sometimes how much work you put in and deals fall apart and you make zero. And this industry doesn't guarantee any income at all. So, but there's a lot of good stuff in this industry too. So this is what this event is about. And then we're gonna talk a little. We're gonna have at the end a little video how to get if somebody is still interested. By show of hands, how many of you are in the business already? Who is already in the business? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, most of you are just curious about this. So this is gonna be good. So I've been in the business since 2017. The beginning was very hard. It took me 8 months to sell the first property, which was my own. I bought for myself for $84,000. And then I put an off-market deal together. I found a for sale by owner. I found a developer. I put it together. I was the happiest person in the world to put that deal together. And then there was my friends, and then they kept rolling. And then 12 months after, I was doing really good. It was growing very fast. But the beginning was super tough. And then my first goal for 2018 was 20 deals. I came short. I did 16. Then I put 40 deals. I did 34. Then I wanted to do 80. I did 60. And then I did 130. And then now we, as a company, we probably gonna close 500 maybe this year. So far, 700. Yeah. So far we've closed I think 100, and then we have another 80 on the contract. So we're growing pretty good. And these are the guys that are on the top. So you're gonna learn some stuff. If you have questions, just wait till the end. We're gonna open it up a little bit. Write it down. We got notebooks for you, but I don't know if we got pens for you. Then I decided to build the brokerage instead of building a team. I don't know what was the thought process really behind it, but since I started, I was actually thinking about getting my managing broker license, and the moment when I got it, I went on the computer and I thought I had to activate it, and then I activated it and I got an email, you're already on your own. So it was like all of a sudden, and then I come to my boss and said, unfortunately I did something online and now I'm not with your company. And he said, okay, good luck. You have a place yet? I said, no, we don't have the office yet. So we started looking. I found this building. There was another building that was cheaper, but I like this one because it was nice. It was newer. The guy walked me through the building. I'm like, oh, this was a little bit better. We paid a little bit more rent, but but I'm very happy with this building. Anyway, so Yeah, I mean, trucking. I was in the trucking business before that. I had a couple of trucks, semis, but surprise. It wasn't really like for me. I mean, I was making money, but I didn't feel. I wanted relationship. I want people. But it's still I am introvert more than I'm an extrovert. Like this talk, I'm gonna be tired after this. So every time I need to like, you saw if you follow him on Instagram, you saw that I was laying on the couch just resting before the event. So like I'm naturally introvert, but I really like to be a little bit this, a little bit that. So, but this, well, we'll talk about what this industry requires. But you could be an introvert and do a lot of sales too. You don't have to be an extrovert. Okay, so one of you just say a little bit about you and how many houses you sell. Maybe we can.
Let's start like who we are and
Right.
few words. Yeah, I think introvert. That's interesting because most of us, maybe not Oleg, but like me for sure, Dima for sure, Julia for sure, we're all introverts. We're not these like, hi, how are you guys? A little bit about me. I think the biggest difference is that I'm the only one from this group that is not only a full-time realtor but also a mom to two kids. I have 4-year-old boy and a 2-year-old girl. Who has kids? You guys know that it's really tough to combine your career with little kids, and this is something that I'll be probably sharing today: how to combine those two, be a successful full-time agent and being a mom on the other side. So I've been in the business for about 7 years, and I know Oleg for many years. I was with a different company before, but then the moment he started his company, I was like, okay, this is a sign. I'll join. Because many years ago, I told him, if you ever open a company, call me. So he called me, and here I am, part of the Komar team. Dima?
Hey everyone. Okay, so I was curious to ask how many of you guys know me for social media? Okay,
That's
like 10 people. That's good. That's good. I never had social media before real estate, so it's a crucial point. If you want to get in real estate, you have to be comfortable to be on social media. Okay, so I became an agent in 2021. Actually, I got my license in 2020, end of the year. I took some months off, and then I started in 2021 part time. Many of you probably will start part time. I had my full time job, and I had my part time job. First year, I was telling Oleg one day I was doomed to succeed because I was working with him. First year, I made from real estate more than on my full time job. So that's why I quit full time job and went full time in real estate. It's too much answer from me. Okay, I will cut it out. I'm an engineer. I was a project manager in engineering firm. I have a master degree from Ukraine. So it's kind of related. Like I know about the building, about the structure, about everything, and I like it. I love to learn. It's played a role as well. But yeah, we will get back to it. So I in the business for almost 3 years. I really love it, and I don't know what else. I believe it's just introduction is done. But Julia, let's go.
Hi everyone, it's honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I wish 3 years ago when I was thinking to become a realtor, I would, be a part of something like you guys today. This night, this event will be really, I think, helpful because usually you can see about realtors on YouTube and listen to stories, and no one really shares. Like if you DM even like agents, they're usually busy, so they don't give you a full story how to start, what it takes to be successful. So it's nice to that you guys here today. I got my license in 2021, so it's a third year. And I really love it. Usually, I was doing different jobs before, like from waiter to receptionist, and I would skip like every year. I would change a job because I didn't feel company. I didn't feel that it's for me. So being in real estate for 3 years, ooh, I feel so good. So yeah, and I think we'll have even more questions.
One thing we forgot to say: how many deals you do in a year?
So this was my second year
On
full.
track to close in 2024.
In 2024, I want to close like 44 deals.
And you, what did you do in the last 12 months?
Ooh, I believe it's like 20 something. But it was, I was a part of a team. So for me, it's hard to count because
Okay.
now I'm independent. It's not.
Well, your goal
even
is
a year.
44 for this year.
Yes.
All right, Dima, we forgot to cover that part. That's important.
So last year I closed 46 deal. For this year, 60. I'm planning.
That's the goal, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I would say definitely under 30, but for me, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. Because in the end of the year, you can make more money on the 10 deals that you can make on the 50. So we'll talk about it more later.
But that's good. Yeah, that makes sense too.
Hey, my name.
Maybe it's because it's too close.
Yeah, probably. Hey, my name is Oleg Baluk. You can see me on the left corner. I'm in a business 3 years, probably like almost all of us new. And I was with Oleg even in a previous brokerage when we were at Century 21. My background, I was a wedding photographer, so I was always working with the people all my life. Last year I closed 59 deals, and this year I want to close be it 60, not more. Probably that's the comfortable number. I don't think you need more. I would better just go with the bigger numbers. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, sounds good. So let's go with my little questions that I prepared. That's the the first ones that we ask people that are interested in the business that got the license. Usually we get a call, and then those are my kind of question. Why real estate? Why not insurance, cars? Why real estate? Why did you become an agent, and what attracted you to this business?
So basically, after getting the paralegal degree here in the United States, because I did not finish the law school in Ukraine, I moved here, and so I finished the paralegal school. And so the very last semester, I had this kind of like practice class that I had to go to the law office, go to law office, and have my like final hours. So that lady, that real estate attorney, she was a real estate attorney. She told me, hey, just get your license. I think you're gonna like this. This is a good profession for you. We're gonna work together. You can still do paralegal part-time, but then you can also do part-time real estate. So that's how I got into that.
Just because she told you? That's it?
I had no idea what I'm signing up for. Like I mean, she explained me how it works, but I'm like, okay, you know what I realized? Because while I was in school, I was doing just W-2 regular at office job, and I was miserable. I hated that. Like 8 to 5 behind the desk typing. I hated that so much. They're like, if I can just like in a day drive somewhere, meet new people, and then have maybe like an hour or two in a day just to like fill out the paperwork. Everything else is on the go. That would be my dream. And I'm like, okay, sounds awesome. Sign me up. And that's how it started.
Yeah, how that's what they think. Why did you become why real estate?
Okay, so for me, everyone remember how the COVID happened, right?
Yeah.
So this was the crucial moment for me because I was working in engineering firm in small tight cubicle with 3 screens in front of me, and you can imagine, you can imagine 300 people on the same floor in that high cubicles, right? I was bored so much that I started looking like, okay, where I can take my career next. And I was thinking about IT and real estate.
It's the same cubicle in IT.
No, you work from home or I don't know. But it's easier for real estate, right? Like not to become the agent, not to be a successful agent, just to pass the exam. It's easier. Okay, so I pick real estate. Actually, not only because of that. I was really interested in investing before. I already had an investment apartment before. I was curious about the industry. I learned a lot about the industry, and I decided to move into the industry. So that's why I chose the and actually engineer at that time because of COVID happened. They start cutting hours at my previous job, so it what motivated me and pushed me to
And
change
I
the career.
again
as well.
forgot. We're gonna do the next one right away. Did you expect it to be easier than when you got it? When you got in, did you expect that it's going to be easier than when you know,
Let's
faced with reality?
Again, once again, I had no idea what it's gonna be
You
like.
had some expectations.
I think at that moment I thought anything would be easier than what I'm doing now.
Right.
Mentally, because I just didn't want to do what I was doing at that moment. And I realized that if I'm gonna go, paralegal, because at that point I was doing HR in a hospice company. So I'm like, okay, paralegal, that's the same job. You're behind the desk in an office 8 to 5 every day. So it's not gonna change anything. Why am I doing this? I hate it. But then again, it very nicely combined all the knowledge on the law with real estate. It combined very
Just-
nicely.
Just did you expect it to be easier? Or no? Or it was? You never had.
I guess I didn't expect to deal with so many problem-solving situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I did expect it to be easier, but like at this point, if I would go back, would I change anything? Absolutely not.
No, at this point you're far. So in the beginning where you're like, oh my god, no, never had it. Oh, okay. Well, how about you?
Okay, are you going to say I'm a lion? But to be honest, I was expecting it to be much harder than it is. Like because I don't know, it happens so naturally. Maybe because of timing, maybe because of I start working with you, and you were busy. You were giving me leads at the first time, right? But it's happened so naturally. I become busy so naturally within first months me in the business. So yeah, like I cannot relate like struggling in real estate because I was busy from the first months. Um, but I believe it depends on the person. I believe it depends on the person. How you even if you think it's going to be harder, if you work hard enough, you can become a really successful real estate agent.
So I think real estate is like a little bit of everything, and I can just do one task. I love to do everything. YouTube, TikToks, like you looking for clients, you calling, you doing open houses, you going for showings. So it's like your every day it's different, and that's what I got addicted to because every other job was like, oh, you go to tables, you serve the same food. So and also in real estate, about if it was easier or not, I thought that it will be hard, but I thought that I was at this point in my life that I need change, and I want to like took myself to a river and pretend that I can swim. And
Who told you about real estate, or you just figured that out on your own?
when I came to America like 7-8 years ago, I started following realtors because every time when you come into a new country or start moving somewhere, you need a realtor or you need a new place. So I followed those successful Ukrainian people who become realtors. And I actually, no, I don't want to promote nobody. So, but I was scary because my English, I came to America, no English. So I did not know, like, what would I do? I can't say how was my day in English. So, yeah.
I became an agent probably because I was buying investment. I bought 5 investment with Oleg before I became an agent. So I was at some point was uncomfortable to ask him more questions and ask him to go somewhere. I was like, oh damn, maybe I should get my own license and I will just be going by myself. So that was the idea. I never had planned to like making money on it. But then I realized quickly you can make good money on it, and you do a simple calculation. You can see like how much money you can make on every deal. And as like Dima, I was expecting to be harder than it was, and because at school they give you so much information, and pretty much all the information is really good for passing the exam. It's no practice. They're not just studying that material. I still remember the book is 530 pages, which you need to memorize, and the test is not easy, and probably you'll be frustrated studying the test, but you expect the career is going to be the same. So it's going to be like little rules that you need to know and you need to follow, but it's not like that. So in my case, I feel like I was expecting way, way worse.
Who is right now studying the book? Who is in the process of studying the book?
Yellow book.
The yellow book, yeah.
Yellow book.
um, so what about me? I was expecting it to be easier. I thought this is gonna be no problem. I was reading the book about Tom Hopkins. He says how to sell a bunch of houses, and I'm picturing myself sitting across the table with the seller. I can do it. I can see. I can do it. And I'm getting to the business, and they tell me make a bunch of calls, and I was shy still. I kind of didn't want, didn't they're making cold calls to me. I remember I was trying to make that call. I was hiding from my wife. Make a call. The guy didn't pick up. I'm like, whew, coming back. It was really hard.
I'll give you the side story of how I met Oleg. I was working as a photographer at a event. Like it was, I don't remember what kind of event it was, but he was there. So, and then he texted me before because probably he was mass texting everyone.
No, it was specifically my wife told me to message you.
So then he approaches me like, so maybe you're gonna buy a house. That was the introduction. That's how we met. So he was not that shy as he's saying right now.
Well, we met I think 2018, so that back then I was already warming up, so I was getting better. But yeah, it was hard. But it took me 8 months to sell a condo, which was my first place. I bought myself the place. I was my own client. And then I put a deal together off market. Beginnings was hard, so hard. But I saw one guy. He was Polish and he was selling 35 deals per year. And I said, if he can do it, I will do it too. And I was just kind of like looking at him and I'm like, I'm going to do it for sure. And then I found the guy who was doing 100 deals in the market. I'm like, if he can do it, nobody in the office was doing that much, but I thought he can do it. And one time I was doing a deal with him and I was asking a bunch of questions and he felt like I'm newer in the business. But then we still did a deal and now we're friends, and it was cool. But yeah, to answer what attracted me to the business? Investments. I always wanted to have 100 houses, have 100 tenants, and chill. That was my goal. But I didn't have a realtor friend who would help me do it. So I'm like, I'll become a realtor and I'll do it for myself. And then I got hooked on sales and I started liking the sales game. And so that's why I kept growing the sales. But I'm still investing. So that's always is one of the top priorities to invest because all realtors need to own investments. It's almost like step number one. You have to have your own investments because you need to believe in the game. As soon as you invest in the business, in the market, and buy investment properties, you start getting clients that asking you, "Hey, help me do it too," and then you start blowing up, right? Yep. That's how we're getting clients too.
So it's like drug dealer, right? You sell real estate, you buy real estate, right? How many doors do you have?
No, dealer's not supposed to use the product.
Okay, I don't know that.
Yeah.
How many apartments do you have as of right now?
20.
Nice.
Yeah. So next question is what we have. How did you get your first deal? How long did it take you to start making full-time income? What? How did you get your first deal?
So for me, it was a slow start, just for like for you. I think I got a license in July, and my first deal was in like November, December. And the funny thing, so I'm in residential real estate, right? But I have no clients. I was at this different office. Nobody helped me. Nobody explained anything. And Julia, right? This is such an amazing opportunity to be here and learn, because I didn't have that. So basically, and then just a friend of mine called me that, hey, I want to buy an office, and I'm like, oh. Office, not a house, not an apartment. And that's how it happened. Basically, the first deal was about half a year and it was commercial office. So that was even tougher, but it all went well. And after that, it was kind of like a bubble. But that happened after that, the sphere of influence started kind of like, I don't know, maybe trusting more or realize that I'm in the business because I wasn't promoting myself as much. And then more friends and family started kind of talking about it, asking for help, asking questions, investment. And that I had few more of like people I know. And after that, referrals. How long? I would say it wasn't the year one for sure. I don't even think. either year 2 or even year 3, where I was more or less comfortable of like, okay, this is my full time job and I make enough that I don't need to look for anything else. Because first few years I still was doing some part-time jobs to kind of make enough.
Okay, first deal. Yeah. Yeah, I was busy from the first months because I was working with Oleg in different companies, Century 21. But the first deal I took to the closing, I believe it was the first month.
The Commodore.
Yes, and I will tell the funny thing, Julia, if you watch it, hi. So it was a client, Julia, and I showed an apartment. She loved it. We wrote in the contract. I'm thinking about myself. I was really professional at that deal. I was talking about. I was talking to the agent. I was doing everything to the client. She was super happy, and when I got the deal, I just didn't send the contract to the attorney and to the lender. So no one start the deal.
Nobody knew about the deal.
Deal just sitting in my email for 3 weeks. So like why I'm telling you this, because you going to make mistakes from the day one. You have to learn. You have to the only one thing to learn from your mistakes. So yeah, we get to the closing anyway. Julia is happy. She got the apartment, and I learned my lessons as well.
How long did it take you to start? When did you quit the second job? How 6 months?
Yeah,
Did it take you to
like
quit?
within I start working like I believe it was March. So it's basically March or April. So it's 3 years for me as of right now as a real estate agent, and I was working till probably like November, full-time job and real estate, and after that I just quit my full-time job.
Yeah, that was
So
pretty fast.
I quit my full-time job, yeah, and I would say I start making the first year. Yeah.
So how did I got my first deal? I chose a different road. Some people go independent agent right away and they don't know what to do. So it's take them several months. I decided to go to a team. So I was under like Dima, under Oleg, and I was in different brokerage. So the lady who was a team leader giving me leads. So that's how I got my first deal. It was pretty easy, but also the cheapest deals was mine. So, and the cheapest deal, I mean, like condo for $100,000. So you make 2,000 and you split.
How soon you started to generate your own clients from the moment you got into the business?
So I had small YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And as soon as I start showing like houses, tours, just what I showed, that's how I start getting clients. And I'm like, oh, social media actually works. And
How soon was that? When did you start the first client reach
I
out?
remember
6 months?
yeah, like in 6 months, I start seeing like people telling me, "Oh, I let."
You'll notice like 6 months is usually the time frame you're gonna get your first client. 2 years is usually when you're gonna get going like for the full time income. Those are the two dates that, on average, it took me 8 months to sell my first property, but it took me 1 year to be full time.
First deal, I had it even before probably I got the license because I was doing investments. I was buying investments myself, so I calculated a few deals and I was waiting for the exam and I was waiting to get in my license, and I had my friend who was ready to buy with me 2 condos, and the moment I got my license, I went and submitted an offer. So I got 2 deals right away, pretty much in the first day.
This is unheard of. That's like you're never gonna hear anybody else getting that done.
But
the
there
first day he's coming into the office, I need to write 2 contracts.
So in my case, I was just running numbers on different investments and showing people the potential which is there. So let's say I bought 5 investments myself. I knew what I was doing already, and I showed to my friends, the closest friends, hey, if you buy this, you put this much, you will have this much. And it started from that. So first year, pretty much I was working with the investments.
Who's running your social media actively? Like you treat it like, it's something important. Like you're running your social media, yeah? So if you decide to become an agent, you want to show the process.
Yeah.
That's how he was warming up his audience for the fact that he's
side note, it took me probably 1.5 years to convince my friends that I am an agent. That's probably it's going to be the step when you're going to feel, because they not recognizing you. Okay, now you're an agent. Who else? So it took me around 2 years when one of my friends eventually bought with me something. So that was the achievement for me when I felt like, okay, now everybody's taking me serious. But meanwhile, I was just posting and it worked. And how long it took me to start making? Probably first 3 months, I realized, okay, this is enough money I can make. So I didn't quit right away, but I knew, okay, I'm gonna do this because this is more profitable.
Nice. Yeah. See, like you got it all over the map. You got 8 months, you got 3 months, you got 6 months, you got a year, you got 6 months roughly. So it's different for everybody. So if it takes you a year, and nothing is happening, that's okay. If you're doing, the most important things, which is, we're gonna talk about what's the most important. It's
it
reaching
doesn't
out.
it
Yeah.
doesn't matter, because basically your 8 months, that's the longest from all of us, and we're all now working in your company, so that's not a, you can justify based on that.
Yeah. Did you ever want to quit, Angelica? Did you ever want to thinking about quitting? No, really?
No, I mean, I cannot imagine a better career for myself at this point. I know maybe something's going to change in 10 years, 20, but at this point, I love it. I love my clients. I love the fact that I can be in a process of one of the most important decisions in their lives, and I'm building these relationships, connections. Almost every single client of mine, I still talk to them. We text each other, we call each other. Any questions, they're coming back to me. So someone rented with me, then bought an apartment, then townhouse, then a house, then they're selling a house. So it is a lifelong relationships, and I love when someone's calling me, that we bought something a few years ago. Hey, I'm ready to sell and upgrade, move something else, or investments. So definitely never had a thought, even at the very tough situations. Still, I thought, do I want to go back to that, 8 to 5? I was like, no way. Let me figure this out. Let me save the deal, and that's what I want to keep doing. Yeah.
Any like special deals that you were like, you remember forever?
Of course, not every single one, but many. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like every deal you sign, you close. There will be for sure hiccups. There will always be, situation you need to deal with, problems to solve. But still, I wouldn't change a thing. There was probably one that I gonna remember for the rest of my life. The one. eh, okay, so in few words, basically the deal fell apart at the almost day of closing. There was a final walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and it's the situation that happened. It's not even something that someone did something wrong. It just the situation.
There's a construction in the backyard.
Like, yeah, but
It
it's
was a
not.
construction. The buyers were buying a nice house with a nice backyard, and the walkthrough came, the day before the closing, and there's cranes building, things.
Yeah, so
So
basically it was
buyers
kind
didn't
of
want
like a forest field, and
But
then when we came, it was just a field with like construction field, and then this is not a land of those buyers anymore, so they can't complain like, oh hey, because something is building there, I'm not gonna buy. But also for sellers, hey, we wasted like 2 months and now you're not buying, but this is not something we can control. So there will be situations that just do not depend on you at all, and you will just have to deal with that.
Yeah, 2 months of work and you make zero.
Yeah, there will be that as well.
But you don't see that on Instagram,
You don't.
Did you ever want to quit? Did you think about quitting?
No,
Come on, man.
definitely not. But I'll tell
I
you
thought about
this.
quitting every day.
It's
in the first 8 months.
working with people, working with. It's really hard. Yeah, you're not going to see on Instagram, but it's really hard to get this property to your client at this time. There is multiple offers. You try and everything. You're doing everything for your clients to get this property for them, right? And sometimes you don't get it. And there's highs and lows, and sometimes like you burnt out, you have to step back, you have to relax, take 2 days off, go to vacation, because it's really hard industry. But yeah, I had this highs and lows, but yeah,
Never thought about quitting?
Never thought about quitting. Yeah,
Even if you
I
lose
love it.
like bunch of times you're providing an offer, You know, like
Every week.
I love it.
I'm writing every week like 10 offers and I'm getting like one, right? So
Yeah.
it's always hard, but I love the industry. I told you I was working full time on my previous job. Why I start looking for another career? Why I start looking about towards real estate, right? Because I was tired. I was bored. I was tired in real estate. Yeah, I'm not. I think I'm not going to change my career. Never. The hardest deal. Yeah, I don't have anything specific. There's always something can come up. Like, yeah, you're thinking you're going to close the deal in 30 days. Something came up and it's taking 60 days. It's taking extra drive to the property, extra inspection, extra something. But I wouldn't say it's hardest than other deals, right? You're doing it for your clients. You're doing it for referrals. You're doing it for your future in real estate. So everything can happen, but I wouldn't say it's hardest. Or I will tell one story that I talked to Julia before the today's meeting. So I had flat tire. Drive into the closing. I call attorney and I say no, I'm 1 hour late because I have flat tire. And she's like, okay, that's fine, no problem, take your time. In 1 hour, she calling me, hey, buyers backing out. They don't want to sign anything, and we're going to cancel the closing. I'm totally relaxed, asking, okay, what happened? Is there a reason? And she's like, it's not funny with you. No, I'm kidding. I'm on speaker with your clients. We signed everything. We're just waiting for you. And it's like, it's not funny with you, but you're so calm. You're not like reacting on what happened. Like, because if you're thinking about saving a deal or something, when your client canceling at the closing, and you thinking how you can save it because you want your money, not because okay, so something happened, your clients change their mind, or maybe there is a reason, right? So probably this career not for you. It's because long term you have to think about your clients, not about your check.
It's good.
Okay, about quitting. So I think that this business is hard and sometimes you can burn out because there are some seasons in real estate when you're just driving nonstop and you missing birthdays. Your husband has the day off and you can like you just working. So there's some days like that, and also you don't work hourly. So it's all about mindset. Are you comfortable with it? Working 1 week, you didn't see any paycheck, you're missing birthdays, days off. You just don't have days off because your clients want to see a place and write an offer. So that's only like the hardest part when you not like want to quit because I'm keep doing it and I know why I'm doing this, but definitely lows and highs like Dima said. And the hardest deal and what you learn about it, I would say sometimes it's hard to control how other people perform because when you let's say have a deal, you can be the best realtor in the whole world and people like amazing, like they amaze how you work, but lenders, attorneys, you can control them. So if one of those people don't perform, and this deal can be the hardest, you know, because of like somebody deciding to work not the hardest as you do. So I would say that's the deals get hard when you can control how other people perform.
Okay, definitely not quitting. And second one, I will share the story about the check and about the deal. So I had my hardest deal was a 6 flat unit building for my client. We spent so much time looking for it, and he checked a lot of them. It's usually hard to schedule because there's a tenant involved. And finally, we got one. We negotiated down. We were under contract. We did inspection. Everything was going smooth. Then he will start changing his mind, giving me his okay. If you can negotiate this for me, I will stay. It's like okay, I'll try. So I was trying. I negotiated middle ground. He was like okay. So it was like a few steps like that. He was trying me. Okay, if you get me this, I'll stay. If not, just cancel. So we went to the closing, and the lender said you need to put more money. because you're not qualifying, blah, blah, blah. Not 25%, you need 30% or 35. So extra 60,000 for him. And he said, if you can make it happen, somehow I'll buy it. If not, I'll just gonna cancel. So in my case, I was fighting for my check, of course. And he after that he bought a lot of properties with me. So he was testing me, and it was like really good check. And I was fighting with a bank. Nobody liked me in that bank, but we got it. So that was the hardest, and I learned not every deal is gonna go smooth. Some of them will. Some people will just go on an open house. They will call you, write an offer, and you got it.
You know, the thing is this, that you're going to put in so much work to put the deal together, and then it goes to the hands of attorney and a lend at the bank. And they haven't put in that much work and that much time into the deals. And sometimes you have to watch it, and sometimes you can't even control it, and it's going to fall apart. And you just have to, come back and look for something else for your client. You also want to always keep your client's interest first, but also remember that sometimes clients will say, I don't know, so this falls apart, so it falls apart. And they say, do you want it? Yeah, I do want it, but it's not happening. Let me make it happen, So then you have to step in and try to put it together, because sometimes it's another relationship that you're going to have, another contact, another lender, another maybe attorney or something else. It's sometimes you can figure out, like you figured out the condo when you sold that it wasn't rentable, but then you figured out the structure, how to make it rentable, and it's happened. It's like this. It's up to you. Sometimes you can make it happen, right? That deal.
99% of the time. So I think.
I will add one thing. The hardest clients will give you the best referrals. Always.
That's true.
Yeah.
The ones that you drive the most, the ones
Yeah.
you show houses the most, the ones that cancel the most.
And referral is going to be like that.
Yeah, and they're gonna appreciate it. Like, oh, this girl stick with me through ups and downs, and we went through so much.
I think
I
for
appreciate
me, what I learned, if my client absolutely wants it, I think like 9 out of 10 times I can make it happen. Even if it's a changing a lender or, changing an attorney or talking to them, being not the nicest realtor out there, but, being very strict of like, hey, this and this needs to happen. But for me personally, I've saved a lot of deals. And at this point, I can say that most of the deal can be saved. The only thing that cannot be changed if your client is like, no, I don't want it. Like, that's it. You cannot change your client's mind because you're working in the best of interest of that client. But if this is just some issues on the way, I learned that almost any issue can be solved. So you just need to work harder. But for me, again, for me, it's never, let's find your property, sign, and I'm out. I'm, with different clients, looking for different properties. For me, I'm involved every single step of the transactions, from earnest money to inspection to attorney review to appraisal. I'm there. Doesn't matter if it's a seller or buyer. I'll be on the phone with lenders, attorneys almost every day, if not every day, every second day. But I am definitely involved in the whole process. So whenever people saying, "Oh, realtors just opening houses," that is not true for me personally, because I know that so much time. There's so much happening kind of behind the wall that client don't even know, don't even see. But I think we play a huge role in a transaction. I feel like we're one of the most important people for that transaction to actually happen in the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I wanted to quit the business in the first couple months many, many, many times. Many times. I remember even I had a listing. I had a second listing and I had a contract. And I'm like on the phone with my mom, and I was telling her, I think I'm in the wrong industry. I'm seeing people doing deals with people that they know forever. I'm only here like 9 years or something. I don't know that many people. I'm not sure if that's the right thing. And then the other thing I figured out that for most people, this is a side gig. This is a side hustle for a lot of people. They do it in the summertime. I thought this is like a real career that I could build. I could make some money. And then the other guy in the office is asking me, how much were you making as a in the trucking business? I'm saying, well, this much. He's like, and you quit that to do this? And I'm like, am I doing the wrong choice here? And then the other one said, well, for investments, it's hard for realtors to buy. Realtors, they don't really make much money. I'm like, I wanted to go into real estate to make money, to invest and to learn. And this whole system is upside down, looks like. what am I doing? And so it was hard, but then it flipped, and yeah, it's been great. So so what? How do you think one can say that they have good qualities? What are the qualities for a good agent? You pretty much you pretty much answered that. What do you think? Like, can somebody says, "I want to be an agent," and you can say, "No, you're not good. You cannot be an agent." What are the qualities? And you can see you don't have it.
I
Is it
think
possible?
there's two different types of agents that can be successful. One agent, it's natural. You love to talk to people. You're around the people. You're great at making connection. And another person, hardworking person.
Which one are you?
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle. So it depends. I cannot say this person cannot make it if he or she hardworking and will show up, especially for the first 6 months when it's the hardest. Will show up, will do it, and will not quit. They will succeed. The same as other type of person. If you naturally around the people, you love talking to people, you love making connections, you will succeed as well.
So it's about people,
It's about you, how you connect with others,
but
right?
mainly the main thing is
So
people, right?
yeah, it's working with people. This
It's not
industry
real
is
estate. It's
working.
not
Yeah.
about
If you think
architecture.
you
It's
will
not about
sit
engineering.
in front of computer and deals will make happen, you're wrong. It's not going to work. If you are scared to pick up the phone and call and talk, it's not going to work. You have to call. You have to ask. You have to ask for referrals to start a business. Like I call when I start, I call all of my friends. I call every number on my phone. Hey, I'm the real estate agent. Do you want to buy with me? If you're scared to call and ask,
Do you really like said, do you want to buy with me?
I'm
To everybody?
like I'm the real estate agent now. Okay, so
Right now is different. But when you were starting out, like I was uncomfortable. I couldn't say it. It was not in the beginning good. Like I couldn't pull it off. It was I would call and I would talk for half an hour and I would put a phone down, and it didn't go nowhere. We just talked.
I really good with people. I would say about myself. A long time ago, I was working at Xfinity Comcast, right? Was working for almost 3 years. I was a supervisor I was managing 26 people at the time. Another job, I was working for 3 years as well as project manager, right? I was managing 11 drafters under me as well. So I was managing people. I was good making a connection and work with people. The same here, I would say about the quality about myself, and maybe it's important, right? To be good with people and listen. If you're good with people, but you don't want to listen them and listen what they want and really try to help them, so probably it's going to be hard for you. Okay, next one. How can one know this?
They
Yeah.
tied together. They're the same thing. It's just in different
Yeah,
angles. So
yeah.
pretty much. Yeah. Julie.
I would say the quality which is important is to be calm and stay professional. What I mean is because this business has so many emotions from people, like people who selling, who buying. It's always emotions involved, and you have to be one who kind of like can read the person and be calm and professional. That's what I would say.
I would start from the 8. You should be able to make your own schedule. That's really important because nothing is going to happen by itself. When you don't have like enough leads and nobody know you, so you need to do something, and you just waking up in the morning. Okay, you have a coffee. What else? What you gonna do? Nothing is gonna happen by itself. So we need the schedule. In my case, I was just filming. I was just running numbers. Sometimes I would be just booking the showing, going by myself and show it, and I did it a lot. That was like first my 15, 20 deals from those videos. I was like, I just went there, I run the numbers, I show the numbers, and somebody like, oh, this is looking good. So number 8, you need to be okay with making your own schedule, even if nobody's asking you to do something.
This career could be one of the things where you have no boss, right? You're pretty much starting your own business with Yeah. You have no boss finally. You starting out the business pretty much with really no investment. You pretty much put $1,000 and you're ready to go. But because you don't have a boss, that's actually also a bad thing because there's nobody who tells you what to do. Like if you come to our meetings and you join our company Wednesdays, Fridays, we kind of push it. We tell you what to do. But still, we're not gonna be telling you every day, every single minute. You're gonna go home and you're gonna either do it or no. So you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to put some things on the schedule on the calendar that you have to do. And if you don't do it, you're gonna feel bad about yourself, and that's kind of slowly you're walking into failure rate, which is 87% in the first 5 business. That's the failure rate of the real estate agent who gets into business. 87% of realtors fail in the first 5 years, and I think like 90% in the first year are gone, and the rest 10% is 87 of those are gone. So it doesn't mean they're gone. They give up the license. They still have it. They still call themselves real estate agent. It's just they don't do deals. They keep it holding company or some kind of company that they charge no fees, and they don't care about the MLS fees that are going to pay $1,500 a year, and that's fine. They keep paying, and then they look for somebody who just close them, and then have a couple of years to pay for their MLS dues. Because you're a real estate agent, and he is a real estate agent, and she is a real estate agent. How do you know who's good? You don't know until you try, and then you tried, you bought or sold, and then you don't have a second try because you already done the transaction. So that was my kind of thought process when I got into the business. I need to prove that I'm the best. So the person who is picking an agent, they're gonna come to me because I'm gonna show up the most. Because I'm gonna show up, they're gonna think I'm busy. I'm busy because I have a lot of clients, and clients trust me and they believe I'm good because they see other clients trust. So I started showing up. I took this business serious and put phone calls from 9 to 12 every single day, nonstop. 8 o'clock at the office, opening up the office. Manager comes in at 9, coffee's already ready, and he was complaining that it was his job before I came in. That was how I'm making the coffee. 3 hours worth of calls, and then 2 hours figuring out what kind of content I pulled on Facebook. And then it was 6 months after I got into the business. 6 months after I got into the business, I figured it out. Oh, finally, I have to start putting content. But day one, I was making calls. It was hard, but I pushed myself. It was hard, but then, you have to have this guy because the longer you wait, the longer the whole thing is going to start working. But you don't have the boss. You're like, today, no, tomorrow, and then next week, maybe, maybe not. And then months goes by, 2 months, and you're like, bills have to be paid, and you get the second job, and then you're like,
Or we have a different problem when people think you need to do a perfect content. This is not good enough. This is not good enough. I need to film it better. I need to say better. I need to show it better. The lighting is not good. So the best content will be never created. So you need to
try the other one.
it's even worse.
No, that's too much.
Yeah. So you need to do what you have right away, even if it's not good. You think if it's not what you expected, but it's still better than not doing it at all.
I would add a little bit. So if you think you have to show up only first 6 months, no, you have to show up every single day as long as you're a real estate agent. Even you achieved something, even you successful agent, and you start doing what you was doing before that, people will forget about you, right? You have to show up. You have to do it every single day. It doesn't matter if you're
But one thing is
successful or
this:
not.
in the beginning, you have to work so hard to get a little bit of result, and you're thinking like, I don't want this career. This is too hard to get a little bit of result. But it gets better. It's like a train. It's hard to pull, but then it goes on its own. So then you just have to keep up. Then one video per week might be enough to keep it going. Or whichever way. You don't have to do videos. You can just work with meeting people. We'll have Olena in our company. She just networks a lot, and she does a lot of deals just by meeting and going to networking events. But in the beginning, it's so much work for just a little bit of result, and your checks are going to be very little. My first check was $1,100, and then we're going to talk about checks on the next slide. $1,100 was my first check, and then I remember I couldn't make that 6 months, and then I get a bill from the office for printing, $600, and I almost cried. It was the moment where I'm like, oh my god, this is just, it was hard. So, what was I going? Where was I going with this? So, what was I saying?
You want the next slide?
No. Before the slide. You have to show up. Oh, it gets easier as you like the first it's hard to get the first sale, but don't think it's going to be the same every single sale. Then it starts rolling easier, right? Now we're getting calls sometimes from clients like, hey, I want to see there's a house across the street. Let's go. You show one house, you put it on the contract, 15 grand. That's the check. You know, 20, right? Sometimes 30, you know? So it's sometimes it's like, or sometimes you get client who you have to show 50 houses and get $1,000. Well, your first check was $100 on the office lease.
Wow.
$100.
Oh, guess.
Yeah, my first check was lease. It was rental, right? And I actually was I can make it higher because it was lease. It was for 600 a month, and I negotiated it down because we signed for 2-year lease, and I negotiated for my client for 500 a month. And after all the splits,
But didn't
I
that
got
client bought with you?
like 7 properties after that.
Seven.
So first check from this client was $100, and after that he bought a lot of properties with me.
See, that's the truth. Like the one relationship equals 10 to 20 deals in your career from that person buying, then they selling what they bought, then they buying something bigger, then they're referring to a friend. Those did the same thing. Then you have 6 already. And that could happen in just 2 years. You already have 6 from one handshake.
You know what I just realized?
Yeah.
So that very first client, the commercial deal, it was like a office for like 180 or something. We are now working on $1 million deal with that same client on the office. So like he grew, I grew, and we're back together and doing more deals.
I was doing $70,000 deals with him. You know, he did like condos for 70,000. Then I had clients all like for 60, 70, 80, and my checks are like $1,000 here and there. And one agent, like, remember, she was doing like 500,000 deals all over like Park Ridge and northwest suburbs. She was really good. And she's asking, yeah, you're doing good though. Like, you're growing. I'm like, my average sales price is 180. She's like, 180? She couldn't believe it. Like, what are you selling for 180? She doesn't even see these numbers. She sees only 400, 500, 600. And I said, yeah, well, and then I went to the managing broker and said, what can I do to raise my price? He said, one of our top number 1 agents, she grew from a very, very bottom. So just wait, your clients will grow, they will make more money, they will upgrade, and you will upgrade with them. And also, going back to getting into the business, if you own real estate already, you have to show it. Like, you have to say that you own. You have to, and even if you can buy in the process and talk about that you bought, or even talk about before you got a license and you have something, then people will trust you even more. It's hard to trust a realtor who doesn't own real estate. You know, that was the first thing I learned. So that's why I was the first client of my own. So showing that you have something already, it builds up your credibility. If you don't, it's fine. You have to take your time. If you can buy it, it's fine too. You'll just have to be confident and don't think that, oh, because I can't help nobody. You can't. You know, you're gonna learn the process. If you join our company, we're gonna teach you, or you know, you're gonna just figure out how to do it. No problem. And but if you can buy, or you own yourself right now, that's the thing you should be pushing on. You should be showing that I have it, you know. But if you don't, no big deal. You can still sell. What was the highest commission you made? I'll share mine. It was 33 grand. It was good. It was one showing, call, one showing, boom, 1 month, $33,000. That's just to motivate some of you who really think about is it possible. I've done it all. I've done little, big ones. I've probably closed 500 deals ish on my own, altogether probably. I've never counted on my own. But most of the deals will be probably around 6,000, probably here and there. In the beginning, probably less. But yeah.
No, it was around 30,000. I think a little under, like 27, 28 after I got.
The yesterday's one wasn't the biggest?
That wasn't the biggest.
Oh, wow.
The commercial 3% was the biggest. But yesterday
Around
was
30
good
grand too, yeah?
Around 30,000.
See, like 30 grand, it is because sometimes it is so, you know, nice because it's not guaranteed. Nobody guarantees that you're going to get paid. It's still, you don't know if it's going to close. Anything can happen. And you're going to have sleepless nights. It's 100 times harder than you think. You're gonna be waking up in the middle of the night thinking, did I send that email? Did I reply? Did they get feedback from me? Did I do this and that? Did I sign disclosures? You're gonna be going on vacation and you're gonna be working. That's why you get rewarded like that sometimes. You can get rewarded like that a lot of times. We got like, I don't know, Nick's here. Nick, 6 months in the business, he's doing $1 million deals. He's jumping right there. He's like they got confidence through the roof. And two gas stations. One's 2.5 million, the other one 1.5. Like, I don't care. So I forgot where it was going. Yeah.
It depends because there's also like different splits, referrals, all of that. Yesterday's would be 35, but that's relocations.
Okay, so I'm growing, right? I'm only 3 years in the business. Yeah, the highest was around 11,000, 1150, something like 11,500, something like that. And I shared the lowest, right? $100. Remember?
So I had, I believe, $14,000, but then I had to split it.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's
I had to give half, half to my pocket.
yeah. In this business, if, for example, if you know a real estate agent in Florida and that real estate agent calls you and said, I have a client for you, I want 25% referral, you would say probably yes. Most of the agents will say, yes, it's fine. Give me that client. I'll close. And you pay that agent 25%. So if you know somebody and you know the other agent in the other state or anywhere, you have to be licensed. You can refer and make money just by texting the phone number and the name to that agent. It's like happening all the time. You get a referral fee and usually it's 25-30%. If you know, but you have to be licensed. So if you have a big following on Instagram, getting licensed is a money making. Just refer. You don't even have to sell anything. Refer. Get 25% or 30. Whatever, you can negotiate 40.
Okay.
How much money you make?
So the
Tax returns.
the biggest check was 24, I believe, 24, 25. And the smallest was a rental for 400, like probably causing me 15 different times to show up to get those.
Yeah. A lot of times we sometimes we go in the showing knowing that the client is not gonna buy. It's just to meet and just to shake hands and just to learn. And sometimes you're just asking questions just about the person. Just it's not leading to any transaction, because we know that the closer we get to the client's gonna buy, and we're just gonna be right there with them, or sell, and we're gonna be with them.
Or sometimes they already have the place on the contract and they wanna check another one just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. So
And sometimes they have a question at 10 p.m. and they call you, and you have to listen to it for 30 minutes while you're putting babies to sleep. You have that too, or you can call them back, of course. Sometimes if you have this one deal, the first deal that you're trying to put together, and the client now is calling and you're thinking, they backing out probably. Let me pick it up right now because I won't sleep. And this is because you're gonna get paid only at the end if the successful sale happens. If it doesn't happen, the whole thing is, that's why you have to watch it. You can you're on vacation, the mind is still doing deals, right? You don't turn off. Okay, thank you very much for coming. We're gonna end it. This is late. It's 8:30, 2 hours. Thank you guys for doing this.